Canada's immigration numbers for the first quarter of this year are finally out following intense pressure for them to be released. And let me tell you, they're raising some serious questions about what exactly is going on in Ottawa. Let's dig in.
Anyone who commits a crime while they're in Canada, they need to be immediately detained, and when their detention is complete, they need to be deported from the country. We need to track down the roughly 600 criminals that the Liberals have lost track of. That means using all our security agencies to find out where they are, to locate them, arrest them, put them on planes, get them out of Canada.
Now, this comes contrary to Liberal promises of lessening unmitigated immigration.
We will return our immigration to sustainable levels by capping the total number of temporary workers and international students at less than 5% of Canada's population by the end of 2027.
The first 4 months of 2025 instead show that Canada welcomed just over 132,000 landed immigrants. The new numbers have been reported on by Blacklock's reporter, showing that we're on track to reach nearly 400,000 new permanent residents by year's end. Nearly 500,000 is well above the sustainable immigration levels that we've seen from previous governments, not to mention that the number of permanent residents alone has absolutely skyrocketed in recent years. But in came Trudeau's successor, Prime Minister Mark Carney, who stood in front of Canadians during his campaign and promised to cap immigration at sustainable levels.
With respect to immigration, last point, they are. We have not lived up to our promise to those we brought to this country. We don't have the capacity in terms of housing, social services, and those who came as students. They're not all getting the education they deserve in Canada. We need to build that capacity. We need to manage immigration at lower levels for a period of time until we have those results and the capacity. And of course, that means working very, very closely between the federal and provincial governments. Thank you.
But 400,000 of them, that's not exactly screaming a cap to me. Let's rewind though, because back in October, the government tabled its immigration levels plan to cut numbers across the board, supposed to begin this year. It sounded like they were going to tighten the belt, but the actual figures released just this week by the Senate's National Finance Committee show that we're already on pace to blow past that cap.
And this will help ease strains on housing, on public infrastructure, and social services.
And this isn't some random guess. These numbers come straight from the Department of Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada after some serious prodding by senators who weren't buying vague assurances being peddled as answers. Senator Claude Carney, chair of the National Finance Committee, was demanding the actual figures. The department's chief finance officer, Natalie Manceau, tried to dodge, saying that she didn't have the numbers on hand. But Carney wasn't having it, and thank goodness for that, because we finally got the truth. 132,000 landed immigrants from January to April alone, and that's just permanent residents. This doesn't include foreign students, visitors, and migrant workers who are already here, which Blacklock says totals over 3 million and makes up for a whopping 18.5% of the private sector workforce. So when is the Liberal government going to be straight with Canadians about why the numbers aren't matching their promises? The department's budget for 2025 is a whopping $5.17 billion, even after this supposed scaling back. So why are we still seeing a flood of new arrivals that outpaces the plan? And let's not gloss over the human toll of all of this, because when the system is creaking and crumbling under the weight of backlogs and unchecked inflows, how compassionate is it to promise a smooth integration that can't deliver? There's the housing crisis, our socialized healthcare system that isn't far behind with staffing shortages, overflowing ERs facing closures, affordability is through the roof, and Canada is losing jobs while our youth are unemployed thanks to Canada's reliance on cheap foreign labor and lax immigration. Yet here we are with numbers that suggest the government's either not at all in control or, unsurprisingly, not being honest about their plans.
We need to get rid of the incentives for people to come here that are not real refugees. So we need a review of all the benefits that go to people who come as asylum claimants to make sure they're not getting more benefits than Canadian taxpayers get.
This isn't about closing the door on newcomers. Canada has always been a place that welcomes those who want to build a better life. But this is about truth, accountability, and making sure that the system actually works for everyone. That's newcomers and Canadians alike. Because right now, well, the proof is in the pudding that it's not. When senators have to beg for basic data and the government's own numbers contradict their promises, we have to demand why politicians are overlooking the issue of Canadian job displacement and if, or maybe rather how, they and their corporate partners benefit from the reliance on cheap foreign labor. As the immigration debate heats up, we deserve answers that add up. For Rebel News, I'm Tamara Ugolini. If you think that we need to hit the brakes on immigration to restore and recover what was once a world-class immigration system, then please head on over to our page at netzeroimmigration.com. There you can sign our petition and sign up so that you never miss a report on this file. That's netzeroimmigration.com.